Hey host team, I hope you guys are having a great week. It is like pre-Thanksgiving week. Anyway, speaking of Thanksgiving, I want to share a little bit of something with you. Some of you may know this. If not, then I'd hope that you find this interesting. But back in the early church, like when church first began, when they would do the Lord's Supper, it was called the Eucharist. I know it sounds funny, Eucharist. But anyway, that was actually the elements, the bread, the wine, all those things. And they would take the Eucharist, the bread and the wine, and that was their way of communing with God. It was their way of just worshiping Him through communion, because Scripture is really clear on how our heart should be when we walk into communion. And I was looking at that, and one of the things that I learned about the root word of Eucharist, the origination of that word is thanksgiving. It means to give thanks. And I started thinking about how that pertains to the season that we're in. We're all about giving thanks. And in 1 week, in one short week, we are going to be celebrating Thanksgiving. And our church, in its infinite wisdom, has decided that we are going to have the Lord's Supper this weekend. We're going to take communion together, the Eucharist. And so I'm telling you all of that because I hope that you will prepare your hearts now, like today, and that you will keep your heart in a place of thanksgiving, so that when this weekend comes and it's time for you to take that Eucharist or that communion, that your heart is prepared and that you're in a place of worship, that it means something more to you than it ever has before. I pray you feel the presence of Jesus as you take that grape juice, which represents the wine, which represents the blood of Christ that was shed for you. And as you take that bread that represents the body that was beaten and broken just for you, I hope that you take that in and that it gives you this overwhelming sense, this overflow of thanksgiving because of what Jesus has done for you. So guys, be prepared this weekend that you are going to get to take communion together corporately. And I cannot wait to do that with you. Now, if you are an outdoor greeter or if you're on the parking team, please bundle up. It is going to be cold. We have some hot hands for you that you can put in your gloves. We also have some gloves and some beanies, things like that. But please come prepared, because we want our guests to be able to see people from outside so that they know that someone's waiting for them to enter. So dress warmly. And if you're a greeter of any kind, be prepared just in case you might have to go outside too. And listen, I am so grateful that this is how you've chosen to worship your God, is through serving Him on the weekend. All right, guys, I cannot wait to see you this weekend so we can serve it up. All right, whoever finds God finds life.